Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers. And joining us today is Leila Johnson Salami. And of course, Steve will be doing the honors as we are missing the ombudsman, Kayode Komolafe.
KK.
Leila, we miss you.
He cracked me up.
Joining us now is like, I can never beat that. But I mean, welcome. We miss you, Leila. And you have to come back on the Sunday Tonic with your Wild Aid report.
Actually, I'm happy to announce we're currently working on a third season of Go Wild. So in a couple months' time, we will have more episodes of Go Wild to bring to the Sunday shows. I know it was a great part of the Sunday shows.
It was the best part of the Sunday show. We loved it.
It will be back. It will be back. It takes a lot going into the forest. It takes a lot of time to get the content.
The last one you did was in Cross River State, right? With the timber, was it?
That was in the first season. That was covered in the first season. So we did that in 2021. In the last season, we focused more on Taraba State. We focused quite a bit on Lagos State too, and other parts of the country as well.
Okay.
Now, just so our viewers know, Leila got an award for her amazing report.
Yes, Go Wild did win an award. So Arise News won an award actually.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Great.
Yeah.
So when Go Wild returns, let it come with a few bushmates.
We're not just for you, Mr. Steve.
Well done, Leila.
All right, so we'll proceed with the newspapers review. Of course, we start with this day on Sunday. And of course, it's predictable what the lead story will be. World leaders excited as King Charles III swears to govern with justice and mercy. Pledges to be a blessing to all faiths. I look forward to working with you, Tinubu tells monarch. I mean, that's a good one. He probably will be working more with the prime minister, isn't it? Than the king. But I mean, this is a good thing to say from the president-elect, isn't it, Oji? But we can't be tired of the news about the coronation of the king, and I'm sure that throughout the week it was still all about King Charles and Queen Camilla. Lovely, lucky couple, shall we say. And on top of that story, Yar'Adua never wanted to be president, says wife Toure. That's on page 12 of today's this day. It's been 13 years since the former president left us, and I like the fact that everybody is, have nice things, paying tributes, have nice things to say about him. And the wife says he never wanted to be president. What does this mean? Does it mean that it was the sitting president at that time before him, Olusegun Obasanjo, who railroaded him into becoming president? But here we are, 13 years after, we have a man as president-elect who has prepared for 30 years to be president.
Quite a while.
For 30 years. So, some contrast there. On top of the masthead, Sonia Ekweremadu, I feel guilty for my parents' conviction. That's on page 6. A lot of people have said things about the fact that is it right for Sonia to have granted that exclusive interview to BBC? But then some other people are like, why not let her pour her minds?
I think it was so ill-advised, honestly. She's not the victim here. Her parents are not the victims here either. And it just came across as a surprising interview because she could have very easily indicted herself further in that interview. There was even a point where she was asked a question about whether she knew the lie about the cousin was going to be there.
Meant to be his cousin.
Exactly.
David.
And someone in the room then said, well, she doesn't have to answer that. And, it also came across as she didn't really see the wrong in what her parents did. And fair enough, you're going to defend your parents. But if you're going to do that in the midst of such a sensitive situation and a real criminal situation, we're talking about modern day slavery. If you're going to defend your parents when they've been found guilty under the Modern Slavery Act in the UK, it's best to stay quiet rather than coming out on an interview that seemed quite ill-advised. At the same time, all of this has happened based on her sickness with FSGS, nephrotic syndrome, and you can understand someone feeling guilty in that position because your parents committed this crime, Now your mother is locked away for, well, she's got a sentence of over 4 years, and your father has a sentence of over 9 years. It's a wow situation. It really is.
Well, I did watch that video, and I must commend her because I believe that she was able to, share that part of the family, saying that she doesn't agree with the judgment. I mean, she believes that her parents are innocent, and she was also able to shed light on the disease as well. I thought it was important for her to also have done that in that manner. I mean, I kind of agree with you that she should have kept quiet for a little bit, but I think it is important for us to hear her side of the story. It did give a human angle to her pain. Her parents are going to be locked away. I understand.
No, but I wanted to ask you.
You have made your point.
No, I wanted to ask you though, Oji, what gives a human angle to someone speaking in public about sitting down and cherry picking donors? She said in that interview, she was like, I saw different people and I was asked to pick. That comes across as quite inhumane rather than humane, right?
Well, yes, that too as well. But also you have to understand that she also stated that it wasn't that she was trying to pick because it was, like you pointed it out, cherry picking. It's because she had to be involved in whatever was going into her body. So I don't want it to be a situation where we're castigating this family as much as I know that they have been found guilty, they have been jailed and all of that, but I think it does shed some light to their pain as well. And who knows? They might go on appeal. Who knows? They might review the sentencing as well. But she is going through a whole lot at this moment. Both her parents are locked away, and she may have to be on dialysis probably all her life if she does not find a donor as well. So, yeah.
What do I think? I think maybe I would have empathized more with her if that interview had come before the sentencing. After the sentencing, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit off.
Do we know if she did it before or it just was released after? I don't know if it was done before.
No, it would have been done after.
Because she commented about the fact that they had been sentenced. I don't know. I think it's just the fine line between justice and empathy. We will empathize, but at the same time, there's also a victim on the other side who claimed that he was treated like a slave and he would have been deprived of his organ without his knowledge. I mean, that's the story. But 2 adults now in jail, 2 youngsters struggling. One struggling for her life, maybe she'll be on dialysis forever or she gets a donor. And the other one struggling to remain in the UK, claiming that if she returns to Nigeria, his life may not be safe. Do we believe him? This is where we are.
But I think that's a fair enough point. I mean, you're talking about an influential politician. Yeah. Anyone in that kid's position, he's 21 years old, anyone in his position would feel as though their life is possibly going to be threatened if they did come back to Nigeria. And what I found interesting is when the sentencing was being read out in court, the judge stated that they did consider monetary financial compensation towards the victim, but the victim said that he doesn't want any money from, in quotes, the bad people, right? So the victim didn't even want financial compensation for what had happened, but rather the victim just wanted justice for what had happened. And you can emphasize because, yes, what she's going through is a serious illness, but at the same time, it just goes to show that just because you are suffering doesn't mean somebody else has to pay the price for that in a way that is not considered legal.
There'll be more to come, I'm sure, with this story. I mean, many comments, people are saying that the sentencing might also just be some sort of, they're trying to set an example with the Ekweremados in terms of human slavery. It's just a pity, really, because if you also look at... So that's another comment as well that comes. All right,
last but not the least is the good news about relief as Buhari inaugurates Dangote refinery on May the 22nd.
All right.
I hope that will say something or do something at a time that the federal government has decided to remove the fuel subsidy.
Yes.
But here we'll have a president who's been there for almost 8 years. Couldn't fix the refineries, couldn't do anything about the soaring oil prices, but now he'll be commissioning one built by a single individual. Isn't that, interesting?
Very interesting. Indeed. All right. Well, let's move over to this day style. We don't have much time on the newspaper review. The cover picture there is Obieze Kwesili, shattering barriers. This is, congratulations from all of us at Arise News and This Day Style as she turns 60. I believe that was 2 weeks ago.
60,
she celebrated her 60th birthday. I mean, she was interviewed by Safina Mohammed. She writes here, she continues to inspire people worldwide with her dedication to economic development, good governance, and human rights. Her life and career testify to the power of hard work, perseverance, and commitment to a cause. She speaks about her trailblazing career and hopes, expectations for the country and the country's future. Yeah.
60.
She's 60, yes, amazing. She's been, minister for education in Nigeria. She's done so much in pushing education forward. I believe we don't have much on the newspaper review.